Yes, we're back.
You were just saying that you were identifying what was less, what's still intellectual for me, and that you've had some new awareness about.
Yeah, when she was describing the last part of this last video, and I was watching it back before we posted it, I could just tell at that point, looking back on it, it was an intellectual concept. It's something she hasn't really embodied yet, but it was the conceptual way she was able to project her mind to, and that's why I was commenting that way. But sometimes when you embody something, then it's you're no longer speaking from that intellectual perspective, but you're speaking from the embodied perspective. And what I found is that if I'm going to represent the Kundalini Mata Shakti, if that's really what I'm calling on, and Shiva for that matter, if I'm going to represent that, then do it. You know? Okay, what does that entail? Well, in my case, a lot, unfortunately, but we're up to the task. You know, we're going to give it a go. So yeah, it means not only inhabiting the body and the mind here, but doing it from that point at the heart, watching it, and stabilizing that. And that's been done through the practice now. I have that whole first 3 centers sealed. It's just done. It's done. Gone. Perfect. So that hydraulic action is continual now. So I have the great blessing to be able to do this. I mean, wow. You know, wow. So there is that. And so I acknowledge that. And the way that I would communicate this to, and the reason I'm doing this, it feels like this kind of wisdom should be communicated somehow. Sure. You know, and this is the best I'm coming up with right now. But the wisdom of the body itself, of allowing an archetypical form of consciousness to become who we are, and then allowing that to become who you are. Allowing it to, if you're going to represent this as a Kundalini yogi, you're going to have the Kundalini coursing through you at all times. It's going to be moving. It's going to create the central channel. It's going to create the crown center. It's going to create this whole thing from the Mother Earth all the way up and down, Tree of Life, right? All becomes lit up. This is the natural flow of it. And you're in that. And like you say, we're at the heart center. You can feel it. So the feeling is in the body. That's how I bring it back to reality. I say, okay, well, how are you feeling, body? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling healthy? What do you need to do to feel good and healthy? Because if I can, in my mind, experience this existential bliss, right? Then I want the body to experience it too. I said, body, you deserve it. You've put up with a lot of shit with me over the years, you know? And I want to share this. So that would be the process of how to do that. What kind of neurological basis would require to tie into those possibilities of rewarding the body. And I'm not just talking about endorphins, I'm talking about overall chemical balance and neurotransmitters, that whole thing as a continual pattern process now. You like the way I talk like that too?
Yeah.
No, I know, you understand, it's cool.
It's like it's artist and scientist, and then they're both merging because they speak the same language. It's just finding different pieces, but that's what I feel in this moment. That's what I feel too,
exactly. Wow, thank you, yes, of course. Exactly. Perspective intelligence. That's what that looks like. That could be, and then I'll add your voices too to this, guys, because this is perspective intelligence. And that's all we can hope, that's the best we can hope for, I think. Right? Yeah, so, well, your turn.
The silence says so much. so does music.
Yes. Oh, Kira would love that. Right here with him.
I feel him.
Oh, he's always around here. Well,
this morning.
He's sitting right in there, actually. We still haven't got him to
This
Yosemite.
morning, I was at a sister's house, and she was wearing a Moroccan Bedouin-inspired, like outfit, talking about being in Egypt and us dreaming of going to Morocco, and she was speaking about the Bedouins, and I said, I have a dear friend who's connected there, and I feel I might be following some of his footprints in the sand one day.
You are.
Yeah. This drum is a magical drum that I made when I was in Guatemala on my trip. And I've been calling in my medicine drum, like feeling just the desire to have my drum, like feeling different friends in their expression of getting to anchor their prayers with their drum. My voice is a huge, it's a portal. It is my portal for being able to express the infinite dimensions of love that I've discovered in my own heart, to then allow them to nourish the soil of this external reality, like my voice being that space for all of that to become real. And so the drum is a place for that to be anchored, and I was always wanting, actually I went to a kirtan in Guatemala, and I found this drum at this little cafe right before we went to kirtan, and it was goat skin, I believe. But I had picked it up, and it had this Guatemalan Mayan fabric around it, and I was feeling it, and I played it. I was like, ooh, I love this drum, like feeling the kind of resonance of a heart drum, right? And I brought that drum to kirtan, and when I was sitting there, and I got to surprise an old friend who was leading it, and he didn't even know I was going to be showing up, and so for me to just arrive with this drum in the kind of space overlooking Lake Atitlan, and then for him to just, as he's playing, I believe he was playing the harmonium, but singing and invoking his prayers for us to just lock eyes and feel that he's like, you're here, like, I'm here, but singing together until it was the end. It was just such a beautiful moment, but I'm singing and I'm playing the drum, and I'm getting to kind of dissolve into the vibration and the sound, and my heart, like, I loved the depth of the sound. I was like, this feels like Mother Earth, it feels like the heartbeat of the earth. I love, because some drums are higher, and some, like, they have different tonalities, but because my voice, I go into really high angelic realms with my voice, and so having a drum that feels low, that allows me to, like, feel connected to the heart of the earth, feels like an anchor point for me to then let myself fly and allow like all of that to happen. So I loved that I got to kind of embody that feeling at this kirtan, and then when that ceremony closed and it was time to kind of go back to where I was staying, I brought the drum back to the friend who let me borrow it at the place, and I was just kind of, I let it go. I let go of the attachment, but just feeling the joy of what it felt like to have that drum in my hands and sing and pray that way.
Completed that whole cycle.
Just getting to kind of feel that.
Got it.
And then, I don't know, a few days later, walking through downtown, I wander into a shop, and there's a Mayan gentleman there, and it's kind of a simple shop, and there's some bags on the walls, and then I kind of peek into this back workshop, and he's working on, what does he make? Drums. And he's been expecting, like there's just such a soul, like, I've been expecting you. Yes, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I was like, and also in my heart, I'm just like, okay, this is the moment when I need, when this all happens. And so we coordinated that we would be, like, the next morning, like a private workshop for me to be able to sit with him and make my drum. And so I got to be part of the whole process, and it was such a beautiful experience. And we created a ceremonial space. We had copal, we had tobacco, we had fire, and just like, getting to pat. And so he has
touching all the elements.
Just bringing them all there. And he sources the skins for his drum from a friend who will hike the mountains in search of animal pelts to be able to find, not hunting them, but receiving the treasures of the earth through the animals. And this is Puma, mountain lions. And I'm from the Santa Cruz Mountains. And the Puma, for me, this is also the Chicana, the Puma, the Condor, and the Serpent.
Don't forget the banana slug, for God's sake.
100% the banana slug too, but I was raised in the Santa Cruz Mountains, and the archetype of my schools, like, because I never really connected on this side of my conscious evolution with the mountain lion as an archetype or as a guiding spirit, like animal totem. But then once the invitation, the options was there for this to be the skin of my drum, I was like, oh, yes, yes. Because it felt like such a beautiful merging, since my heart is in like Guatemalan. Like I discovered all of my multidimensional awareness activated when I was in Lake Guatemalan when I was 22 years old. And I've since like been on a journey of integrating and remembering and having the experiences I needed to have to then kind of come back 5 years later to remember myself and my wholeness and in everything that I've learned and grounded. And so it just felt so perfect that I got to, with this gentleman, have this skin and go through the process of making this medicine drum. And it's avocado wood, and it's from a tree that's over 200 years old. It's from the branch, and I got to sand all of it. And then he was asking me to pattern. So this is what they call the eye of God on the back. This is that woven pattern. And then there's like sparkly pink orange hand woven Guatemalan fabric as well. It kind of makes it. So this drum found me, I found her.
And we're gonna stop there, and she's gonna play the drum, and you have to wait though. You have to come back.
Stay tuned.
Call it drumming up business.